Back now to our top story today. New questions about a Washington Post report about Mitt Romney allegedly bullying a classmate back in 1965. Governor Romney apologizing for any wrongdoing, but also saying he has no recollection of the incident. Critics are calling this a hit piece, and now comments from the alleged victim's own family are raising questions about the story. One sister telling ABC News that they are aggrieved that their late brother, he has since died, would be used to further a political agenda. Bernie Goldberg is a Fox News analyst. Bernie, thank you for being here. So one of the guys who was quoted by the Post is now saying he actually as being disturbed by this incident, now says he actually wasn't even there. But the Post had several witnesses, they claim, behind the incident who can testify to the incident. So it doesn't all come down to this one guy. The family of the alleged bullying victim may not know of the incident. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. The Post seems to have several people who say it did. Put the story in perspective for us. Was it fair game? Was it out of line? And is it fair in light of the reporting the Post and other outlets have done with respect to Barack Obama?
Those are all the right questions. First, yes, there are cracks in the story, and we could spend all day trying to figure out if it's true or not. But let's just say this and move on. If it is true, if he did it, he was wrong, period. There is no discussion about it. End of that discussion. Here's a bulletin, though. Boys in high school can be jerks. That's this just in, you know, boys in high school can be really stupid jerks. Now, the only question that matters now, the only important question now is, what does this tell us about Mitt Romney today? And the answer is, it tells us absolutely nothing. Now, as far as the media is concerned, the media, all of a sudden, this was also on page 1 today of the New York Times, not just the Washington Post. If the media is interested in what Mitt Romney did when he was 17 years old in high school, how come it wasn't interested in what Barack Obama did when he was at Columbia University and what kind of papers he wrote? Were they anti-American, that some people might perceive as anti-American? Were there racial stuff that might be considered not in the mainstream? We don't know, and the media apparently has no interest in finding out. That's one thing. The second thing is, every time somebody like me said we need to explore the relationship between Barack Obama and Bill Ayers, who was a terrorist, a domestic terrorist, and Barack Obama and the Reverend Jeremiah Wright, we were told, what is the relevance of that? That's not important. Fine, that's not important. Then why is this important when we're talking about a 17-year-old high school kid? There's an answer to that, which I'll give you in one sentence. The media clearly didn't want to hurt Barack Obama by reporting all of that kind of stuff back then. And by doing this now, you know, maybe they'll help him, maybe they'll hurt Mitt Romney, but it doesn't make them look good.
Why would they, separate and apart from the fact that the vetting of Barack Obama has been insufficient by some in the media? And I'm not suggesting there's necessarily anything there, but just the absence of interest in going back and looking at his history. Put that to the side.
Exactly.
Is it fair game to look this closely at a candidate's childhood behavior? I mean, now there was a pushback when people said, well, Barack Obama ate dog when he was 6. Like, you don't look at their childhoods to assess, who they are. Is 17 different if he really did hold down a guy and cut off his hair because he didn't like it because it was long? Do we need to know that?
That's a fair question. If he did, it was wrong. But as I say, the only question that matters, I think, to most of us today is, what does this tell us about Mitt Romney, the man who's running for president of the United States? And I'm not taking Mitt Romney's side here. I'm just saying I don't think it tells us anything about him today. So in answer to your question, certainly what happens when somebody's 9 or 8 years old doesn't matter. I don't think it matters much what happened in 1965, except if it did, I want to make clear to all my friends out there on either side of the aisle, I think it was wrong if he did it. And I don't think there's any discussion about the fact that it was wrong if he did it.
Why do you think the Post took an interest in this? I mean, why would they be interested in Mitt Romney doing this back when he was 17 years old?
Yeah, the honest answer is, I don't know. But that's another interesting question. Newspapers, reporters don't have to tell us who their sources are. We all know that. but they have to tell us the motivation of their sources. So if this story was given to them, if a tip was given to them, I don't need to know the name of the person who gave them the tip, but I need to know, was this somebody who is a Barack Obama supporter? Is it somebody who's in the Barack Obama campaign? I'm not saying it is, but I think the Post owes us a little more than it's given us. Where did the story come from? And they give their critics ammunition. One day after Barack Obama says he's in favor of gay same-sex marriage, we get this story in the Post and then
well, they
in the
say
New
they
York
intentionally
Times.
didn't put it in the print version that day because they didn't want to have that juxtaposition. They waited until today to put it, here. This is the story on the front page.
But the point is that critics will say, why did you do this? Because Barack Obama was in the middle of a controversial situation involving gay rights, so now you're going to put Mitt Romney in the middle of a controversial situation involving gay rights? Again, I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying they give their critics ammunition when they do something like this. And
Right.
if the story winds up cracking and falling apart, it's going to be even worse for the Washington Post.
Bernie, thank you.